Hi there, today we're unboxing a laptop. So this particular one is by Lenovo and it's the Yoga 730. Details are in the description below for anyone thinking of purchasing. So a couple of things worth mentioning about this laptop. Has a 13.3 inch Full HD IPS touchscreen display. The processor's an Intel quad-core i5 8250U. Has 8 gig of DDR4 RAM. Storage is 256 gig. And it has a Thunderbolt 3 connection, fingerprint reader and backlit keyboard. Now I was debating on whether to get an i7, but price wise it was working out very expensive, over £1,000 in general for a touchscreen i7. So that's why I've settled for the i5 processor. Specs seemed reasonably good for general use. So let's open it up and see what you get in the packaging. Okay, so I've laid out everything you get in the packaging, so let me quickly run through it one by one. You get a document that says intelligent cooling, so details regarding that. You get a quick start guide showing the content and quickly how to connect it up and start it up. Safety and warranty guide, statement of USB transfer rate, and a booklet, multi-language automatic updates for pre-installed software. Next we have a power adapter, compact in size, it says 65 watts on there. Cable length on this is 160 centimeters, feels of good quality, and the connection type on there is Type-C. Coming in close just so you can see the output values on there. Next we have a power cable, the connection point on there is that, and the other end is a US plug. So I have a spare cable at the side which I can use as a replacement, and just to note the cable length on this is 80 centimeters. Let's take a look at the laptop. So on the top you've got the branding over here, so Yoga. In terms of dimensions, it's 21.5 centimeters there, 31 across, and the depth is 1.4 centimeters thick. Coming in at an angle just to show, you've got a power button there to turn it on, USB connection point, coming around this way, nothing there. Over here, you've got a power point, Thunderbolt point, and a headphone point there. On the back, you've got some vents. Looking underneath, you've got another vent here, got some rubber there, there, and there. Speakers are here. So if I come in close, you can see JBL premium audio. And now if I open it up, let's take this off, paper off. Looking on here, not a full-size keyboard. Obviously it's quite a compact design. Got the fingerprint reader here and trackpad there. Screen-wise, looks pretty cool from what I can see. And the camera just over there. Next, just to show how rigid the laptop is, I'll just try twisting it, and it is quite firm. It's quite compact and firm. Let's open up the screen on it, and on there, very minimal bending. Build wise, does feel good. Obviously with laptops, you do have to be careful. Firm to a reasonable amount, but obviously if you do knock it around, it will get damaged. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to turn on notifications. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and drop me a message, let me know what you think. If you don't like it, make it count by hitting thumbs down twice. Okay, so I've gone through the setup of the laptop. I've entered in all my details, I've set up an account, done all the updates on there as well, so it's ready to go now. One thing I wanted to highlight was the screen itself. It's a glossy screen on this, so keep that in mind. And now if I turn it on, you can just see the levels of glare you may get on there. So there you go. It's not too bad. I can see some glare coming back and I can see reflection of my jumper appearing on there. Now if I turn off the lights, it does greatly reduce it. But just to note, if there is a lot of light, you may get some glare coming back. So now to log in, you've got the fingerprint reader here. I've registered my fingerprint already. And there you go, it's logged in as quick as that. Now this is a touch screen and you can see the size of this display. So you've got a big thick area along the bottom and obviously a thinner bezel on the side and a slightly bigger one there. Now in terms of functionality, it is touch screen. Suppressing that does bring up your options. You can even click down there, start your app up, and then obviously scroll with your finger, which is really nice. Feels really smooth and very responsive. If I just click around, it's on my Wi-Fi at the moment, just to note. I've had a brief play about with it and I do like the performance of it. And it's interesting having a touchscreen laptop. I've never owned one before, so it'd be quite interesting how this pans out having one like this. So the laptop is enabled for a Lenovo Active Pen 2. I didn't get one as part of the package, but I may buy one at a later stage. I think it's a nice bit of functionality to have, especially if you're writing on there, and it's dual function as well. So obviously a standard laptop like this, and looking at the hinges here, you can flip it around completely, and there you go. It's in like a tablet mode now. And if I press the buttons at the back, let's click in there, the keyboard gets disabled, which is good. So you don't accidentally end up pressing anything. And now if I bring it back, press the keyboard, and there you go, keyboard active again. Now, keyboard wise, you've got this large area obviously to rest your hands on as you're typing away. It's a membrane keyboard on there. The feel of it does feel nice, not too bad, and a comfortable feel to it. Trackpad is sufficient size on there. It doesn't give an indication of the clicks, but you do have left and right click on there. So if I click on Windows Explorer, go up, and then I can right click. So that's available, obviously not highlighted. Trackpad itself, no issues there. I personally don't like trackpads. I think it just slows you down a little bit, but if you're limited on space or you're traveling and you're using a laptop, then it's ideal, obviously. So just to confirm the operating system on here, so it's Windows 10 Home Edition and processor confirmed here. So it's an i5 8250U running at 1.6 gigahertz. Installed memory is 8 gig, 64-bit operating system on here. Next, let's test out boot up time. So I've got my stopwatch here. I turn on laptop now, and I'll put my finger over the fingerprint reader. So hopefully it will log straight in and it will go to a web page, and we'll stop it as soon as the web page appears. Here you go, 16 seconds. And that's with me doing my fingerprint a second time as well. So first time it didn't read it in straight away, second time it worked, so there you go. So not too bad in terms of performance in booting up. Now in terms of ports, we're quite limited what there is on the laptop. So you've got the Thunderbolt, you've got USB, and that's about it really. But so if you wanted to connect additional devices or you wanted more USB ports, it's probably worth buying a USB hub like this. So this has a Thunderbolt connection on there, and you can connect HDMI devices, Ethernet as well, so you can get gigabit Ethernet and additional USB ports together with VGA as well. So worth investing in something like this. I'll put a link in the description below for anyone looking for something suitable. The keyboard is backlit, so if I hold on to function, press the space bar, there you go, it lights up. Just to highlight, like any other laptop, it has function keys for shortcuts. So if I come up here, you can see there's a mute option. You can decrease the volume, increase the volume. I can mute the microphone, disable the trackpad, turn the camera off. So that's on at the moment, now it's off. Flip between different displays if I had a display separate to this connected to it, and even adjust the brightness. Standard functionality on most laptops. Next, just to show the viewing angle on here as I turn it around. Pretty good. No issues there. So nice, you can turn it if someone's watching something with you at an angle, they can easily see that as well. Graphics card wise, has an integrated graphics card on there, and just to show the resolutions possible. So 1920 1080, and coming higher up, you can just see all the other ones. Refresh rate, 60 Hertz. So gaming wise, you could probably run some basic games on there. Some of the higher end ones, it will struggle for sure. So not for really high end gaming on here. Next, just to show hard disk details in there. So it's a Samsung drive and 256 gig in size. Showing over here, total host reads, total host writes, power on count, and power on hours. Health status is good on there, and it's 100%, temperature's 31 degrees. Now, if we run a benchmark test on there, we'll just click all and just give it a moment. Okay, Okay, so the benchmark test has completed. These are the results it's come back with, and looking at the first one, queue of 8, 1 thread on there, and then a queue of 1 and 1 thread. Then we've got queue of 32 and 16 threads, and then finally queue of 1 and 1 thread. Next, let's run a benchmark test on the laptop. So I've got Cinebench R15 running on here. OpenGL test, so let's do that one first, and then we'll do the CPU test. So let's give it a moment. So the benchmark test is completed. OpenGL wise, it's coming at 37.68 frames per second, and CPU wise, it's 575 CB on there. Now, looking at the ranking below, you can see it hasn't come in that high, come in at 6 just over there. And if I change the ranking to the OpenGL, that's pretty low as well, it's a 6. So performance wise, it's reasonable, more for a general workstation where you're doing documents, working on Excel, Word, perhaps browsing the web, looking at YouTube videos, just general usage. Next, let's measure the sound levels coming through the laptop speakers. So I've got my sound level meter here. If I go quiet for a moment, ambient noise levels around 45 decibels in the room. So I've got a video picked from my channel with music on there, and just to note, volume on YouTube is at maximum. Volume here on the laptop is at maximum as well. So if I now hit play, there you go, 76 decibels you can get out of there. It's not too bad, doesn't distort in any way as well, just to note, and sound quality seems reasonably good. Now in terms of Bluetooth connectivity, the laptop has Bluetooth 4.1 on there. I've got a Bluetooth speaker here, I can just quickly demonstrate it in action. It's paired up already. Click connect.
Device paired.
There you go, paired up. Play a video with some music in there. There you go, works well. So the speakers themselves in the laptop, they're reasonable. They're not extremely loud in any way. So if you wanted to boost that up, just get a Bluetooth speaker and play wirelessly to it. Next, let's test out gaming on the laptop. So I've installed Fortnite on here just to see how it performs. And when it was installed, it said, do you want to set to optimum settings? And I said yes to that. Frame rate was limited to 30 frames per second. So I've changed that to unlimited just to get an idea of what it comes at. And graphics quality is all gone to medium on there. I've turned on show frames per second on there so you can get an idea what to expect. So as I'm running along, getting about 21, 22 frames per second. It does stutter a little bit, so not ideal for games like this. Could probably push the settings down further. Let's see. Let's go to low. Click apply, and there you go. On low, we're getting about 40 frames per second, 45 frames, and there is still, if you see me moving the mouse here, not so great. Does stutter a little bit still. It's not extremely smooth. Reasonable, I'd say, with the low. Let's see if I can do a bit more. So it can work on low, graphics wise, not so great. I suppose you could play it like this. So there you go. Next, let's test out some video editing on this. So I've got PowerDirector 17 installed. If I select a file off my NAS server, this is a 4K file recorded on a GoPro, dump that in. This is obviously running over Wi-Fi. I've not got a network connection plugged in via a hub or anything, and it's added in straight away. Let's hit play. Not running locally as well, just to note, obviously over Wi-Fi. There you go. No struggling in any way with this. So pleased, this is good. So it suits my purposes because if I'm traveling and I wanted to do some editing, this would be ideal, nice and compact and sufficient amount of power to deal with 4K videos and edit them as well. One of the reasons for me buying this laptop is that it has the 2-in-1 facility, so you can run it in a normal laptop mode as you can see, but you can flip it around and have it in a tablet mode. What's quite nice about this is get a message just to say if you want to be informed about the switching to tablet mode, I'll just say yes to that. And now if I press the buttons at the back, nothing happens. So if I click there, click in type, clicking it, nothing is happening at all. Now, coming back to the screen, so the device itself doesn't come with a stylus or a Lenovo Active Pen. So the Lenovo Active Pen actually has pressure sensitivity on there. So with the more pressure, obviously it will sense that and react accordingly on the screen as you're doing. But I have a stylus, so just to show, nothing special about this one. I think I got it free somewhere. And now if I try writing with that, here you go. It's fine, no issues with it. Glides along, just like using it on your mobile, for instance, or on a tablet, a standard tablet. So it works well on this device as well. So no issues there. You don't really have to buy the Active Pen as such unless you wanted a bit more functionality out of it. This just gives you standard functionality just to be able to write on it, for instance. So nice to have that facility. And then once you've finished using it like this, you just flip it back again. You get a message pop up if you want to be informed about exiting tablet mode. I'll just say yes for now. And there you go, back to normal. I can just type in again. It's a nice bit of functionality you get on this. Just the fact you can flip between the two modes of working and the fact the keyboard and trackpad gets locked into position. You don't accidentally do something. Next, just to show the camera quality and microphone quality from the webcam on here. See for yourself what it's like. Give you an idea of what to expect from this. Just to show the different camera resolutions available. So coming here, you can see the highest resolution is 0.9 of a megapixel, 16 by 9, and that's 1280 by 720. So 720 quality. And looking down the list, you can see the others there. Now, just to show what else is possible with this, so if you have a separate hub which has a HDMI port on there, and this one supports outputs up to 4K, I've plugged it into my TV. So I've got dual screen now, one screen off there, and then obviously it's extended onto the TV there. And if we come in close, I can show what's possible. So it's going 4K resolution and the refresh rate is 29 Hertz. And now just to show it in action, I'm playing a YouTube video on the extended display straight onto my TV. If I move my camera now, just to show 4K. So with the right hub, you can play 4K content onto a secondary display. Doesn't struggle in any way, and that's the advantage of having the Thunderbolt connection on there. Allows you to do things like this. And I'll just move my mouse across. You can see it moving. There you go. Next, just to mention battery life on this and when you'd have to use the power supply to charge this up. So the literature says it can last up to 10 hours, but obviously that's their sort of rough estimates with obviously the screen probably on a lower brightness setting. So I've used it on the maximum brightness setting only because it's a bit of a struggle sometimes when it's so dim and you're trying to view it and use it. More realistic to have it on a brighter setting just to make it easier to work with. So I managed to achieve around 6 hours out of it easily before it went into power saving mode. And then when it goes into power saving mode, you can't take the brightness up unless you plug in a power supply. And power supply wise, you're talking about an hour and a half to get this fully charged. So reasonable results on there. Obviously I was just using it for basic use, browsing the web, word processing, bit of Excel as well on there. So just general usage. And just to note, when I did charge it up, the battery was generally at 10%. Okay, so you've seen the unboxing and setup of this Lenovo Yoga 730 2-in-1 laptop. Great little laptop here, suits my needs. I didn't want to spend too much on a high-end laptop. That's why I went for this particular one. I wanted one with touchscreen facility on there because I've always wanted that sort of facility on a laptop. I think it's nice having that. Enhances the whole usability experience. I like the fact you can flip it between tablet and laptop mode, which is nice. I wanted something with Thunderbolt as well, so it's nice it comes with that. Has a fingerprint reader, and that seems to be working well. In terms of performance, great for general purpose, so Word, Excel, PowerPoint, browsing the web, watching YouTube videos, editing videos, and even a bit of low-end gaming. So you saw Fortnite running on low resolution and you were getting about 40 frames per second on the lowest resolution there. So there you go. Hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing this. Details are in the description below. Thanks for viewing, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.